What's up, guys? Russ Anderson, Anderson Security Consulting, andersonsecurityconsulting.com. Let me get straight into the video. Well, first of all, the links for all the social media will be in the description below. Please like, share, subscribe, comment in the comment section below. On Instagram and Facebook, it's Anderson Security Consulting. On Twitter, it's exec_protect. Exec_protect. If you have any comments or if you have any specific video requests, subject or a topic that you want discussed or analyzed, send those requests to andersonsecurityconsulting@gmail.com. That's andersonsecurityconsulting@gmail.com. All right, let me get straight into the meat and potatoes of the video. This video was inspired. This is a response video to the video put out earlier today by Hood Educated. He runs a great channel. He runs it from, he speaks on current topics, gang culture, lifestyle, crime, hip-hop culture, and the crime related to it from a former gangbanger's perspective. Apparently he used to gangbang. I believe he was a member or is a member of the Vice Lords, and he gives his perspective based on that cultural experience and knowledge, so which he has a lot of, and he's actually turned into a very good investigative journalism platform as well too. He actually goes deeper than many other people do as far as the research and the sources he produces and gets his information from. So shout out to you, brother. I reached out to him on Instagram. He said it was okay to make a response video. That was a while back, but I just got around to making this is the one of the topics that can directly relate to the security professional's perspective, especially protection specialists. So the title of the video was DJ Akademiks is marked for death. So I won't go into all the details. If you want to see know more about the background of that, I would suggest watching that video. I will link that video in the description below, and if you haven't, consider liking, subscribing, and commenting on this video. He actually has a very good perspective, and many of us can learn from that perspective. So, and the gist of the whole thing is this. I don't know why I have trouble talking today, but DJ Akademiks has put himself in a position where he very well could find himself on the receiving end of some, very harsh repercussions. So many of you may not know this, but in the gang culture, if you disrespect someone who is passed away, say they were one of your opposition, one of your enemies, whatever it might be, and they passed away, there's this trend now of disrespecting dead people. There's also a related trend of people who are disrespecting people's dead loved ones. They wind up gone themselves, deleted under different circumstances, typically the byproduct of directed violent actions. So this is a very real thing. So recently he had an issue where he took a picture or showed a location where a person near and dear to NBA Youngboy, is another rapper, and this individual passed away under violent means, and he was with one of their ops, and had I guess he's done an interview with him, and so what they're saying is this: because you're with this individual at the site of this other individual's passing away. The individual he was with was a rapper named Lil Durk, not Little, Lil Durk, and the opposition or the opposing rapper is NBA Youngboy. So DJ Akademiks is being seen as having chosen sides. So when I lived in Los Angeles, I knew plenty of gang members. You can't help it in LA. There are gangs everywhere in Los Angeles, literally. So I knew Crips, Bloods. I knew some of the Latino, the Mexican gangs. I knew 18th Street gangs. I knew dudes from the West Side, like the West Side Locos. Just a bunch of guys, because they're everywhere. And so whatever job you take, wherever you work, and I worked, in between some of the protection jobs, I worked a bunch of sales jobs, and you're going to meet some of these guys. And I talked to some of them from all over the place, and my experience with them generally was I didn't have any problem with them. I didn't have any beef with anybody. I'm not in opposition to any of them or what they do. I will make a video at some point about people who should and should not be in that life. There's a lot of people who are in that life who shouldn't be in there. But anyway, that's a video for another day. So if you engage in being disrespectful, or if you engage, and I'm not saying DJ Akademiks directly disrespected this individual who's passed away. The individual is King Von. He passed away during a violent encounter with another rapper, another gang member who was a friend of Lil Durk's, and so there's a whole back and forth with this whole thing, and so there's a lot of violence and there's a lot of violent history and there's a lot of hatred involved in it. And so if you're chosen, DJ Akademiks, shout out to him. He's had a very long career. He's made a lot of money. He's made a lot of videos. But when you engage in journalism, you've got to be careful to remain as neutral as possible. And so I'll give you an example. There was a guy in Chicago who put out a lot of videos, would give people a platform. He never himself disrespected anyone directly, but here's what he did. He would put videos out of other people disrespecting their opposition, their ops. And again, once again, for those of you from the George W. Bush community, ops are oppositions, or your opposition, opponents, or enemies. So, and someone wind up deleting him and eliminating his birthday and removing him from the planet. And so not because he disrespected anybody, but because he platformed someone and let them and put out a video that was disrespectful to some of them or some of their dead friends. And so here's what you gotta understand. So when you look at gang culture, street gang culture, symbolism is very, very important to them. The gang signs. You can go to the wrong place and be wearing the wrong colors and wind up in some trouble. Like I remember when I lived in Los Angeles, I didn't wear any sports memorabilia. Why? Because if you go to the wrong neighborhood wearing the wrong sports memorabilia, the last thing you want to hear is, "Yo, Holmes, where you from? Yo, cuz, where you from? Oh boy." You know what I mean? And you don't really necessarily want to deal with that. I'm not saying that because I'm a punk or I'm a coward, but why invite problems or disaster if you don't have to? Okay, so DJ Akademiks, and I don't know if this was a planned incident or whatever. I'm sure he did not directly or purposefully mean to disrespect these guys. But what I would say is right now he's in a position where he could wind up on the receiving end of trouble. So where do we come from the security guy perspective? So I'm a security professional. DJ Akademiks, say for instance, someone's given him death threats, which I'm sure he's gotten some of those before. I'm sure he's getting some of them now, even today. He's a very polarizing figure. I got nothing against the guy. I find his videos mostly to be entertaining, and so that's how I look at it. But he also has a lot of informative things, especially some of the interviews and some of the conversations he's had with people. But you go from being, as Hood Educated said, you go from being a civilian to now, guess what? You're with these same individuals. And so from my perspective, when I knew some of these gangbangers, we got along well. I had a bunch of conversations, chopped it up. Again, for those of you from the George W. Bush community, chopping it up means talking. You know what I mean? So anyway, we're having a conversation, right? So but when they would invite me places, we're having a barbecue, we're having a cookout, we're having a dinner, there's a party, I would respectfully decline. And the reason I would do that is because anything can happen. Their lives are dangerous. They live lives that, they could easily wind up in the middle of violence at the snap of a finger. And so I didn't want to be caught out in the middle of somebody else's stuff. Again, not through any cowardice, but guess what? It's not my fight. It's not my fight. It's not my beef. I got nothing to do with it, but bullets zinging through the air, projectiles flying through the air, they don't know where they're going, and they have no particular or set destination. And so if I'm standing in the way of one, well, guess what? I could wind up getting hit because of somebody else's stuff because I was literally at the wrong place at the wrong time. So with that same logic, DJ Akademiks has kind of put himself in he's chosen sides. Now, apparently, he used to be cool with NBA young boy, but these guys are such bitter oppositions or bitter ops. They hate each other. NBA young boy versus Lil Durk. And Lil Durk is a gang member. NBA YoungBoy is a gang member. And apparently these guys are both individuals that are well versed in violence, and so they're accustomed to. DJ Akademiks is not about the gang life. He's not a gang member, but he's chosen sides, and so if he reaches out to me, say for instance. And you should, if you need some help, maybe I can help you out or advise you at the very least. Anyway, so, link in the description below. DJ Akademiks, just hit me up if you need some help. I got you. Anyway, so first thing I'm going to do is put together a profile, your threat matrix. How much under threat are you? Because there are some people who reach out. They may not need protection. They may need protection during certain events, or when they're traveling to certain areas. They may need protection, but most people don't need 24-hour protection. What most people need is advice on how to move and how to live their life, which is a service I also provide. So I'm going to look at these things. I'm going to go through social media and say, wait, you disrespected these guys. Okay, so from the security guy perspective, and Hood Educated said the same thing. He said, your security guys, guess what? They want to go home. Guess what? He's 100% right. I agree with him 100%. I don't know if he's got any experience with security, but he hit on a couple of points. This was one of the main points that stood out to me. Yes, I want to go home. All my guys want to go home. So when I put together a threat matrix, and I see, say for instance, I'm not saying he did, but on purpose, and you're antagonizing, or you're in an antagonistic situation or relationship with people who are prone to violence. Some people don't care about the law, man. Some of these guys don't care about going to prison. They don't care about losing their lives. They don't care about going to prison. They don't care about your life. If they get charged up and they get out of control emotionally, and that emotion will go from grief to hatred, just like that. Grief to hatred to murder, just like that. Literally, flip of a switch. And you're in that way, I'm going to think twice about offering you protection, because like Hood Educated said, bullets start flying. Now, he said, they're going to take cover and maybe return fire, and that is one way to approach it. You don't know how some guys are going to act. Some guys, like when I was in the military, bullets start flying. Some people will surprise you, for better or for worse, about how they're going to react. And I'm not saying one is bad or good or bad or whatever it might be. It's just, people have self-preservation in mind, which I understand. However, if you're counting on that individual to have your back, and so it's a dangerous game to play. And so obviously the trained individuals, the trained specialists, security specialists are going to cover their client, get him to cover, sound off, get him to cover, and evacuate. That's what you do. But a lot of these guys that are out there aren't really very well trained. None of them have been tested under fire like the guys I work with have been. These guys are people who have proven themselves. But people who have proven themselves in battle also look at the threat, and they look at the money, and they say, is this really worth it? And in many cases, the real professionals are going to say, no, it is not really worth it. So DJ Akademiks, what I would say is this, and Hood Educated made this same suggestion. You should go online, use your profile, and apologize. Make an apology, make it a sincere apology. And I'm sure if these individuals are reasonable, they don't really have a beef with you, but they may use you as an example. But if you come out and say, look, man, I apologize. It was not my intention to disrespect or to hurt anybody. Please accept my apology. I'm sure they'll give you an apology. They'll probably give you a little beef or a little stress back and forth, but you've got to be really careful when you jump into that arena, that you're not jumping into the wrong arena, because there are people that are not going to be reasonable about certain things. They're not going to, some of these guys have nothing to lose. Some of these guys don't care if they go to prison for the rest of their lives. They don't care about ending your life. They don't care about harming your loved ones or anything of that nature. And I'm sure DJ Akademiks can afford security. I'm sure he's making plenty of money. The guy has got a huge platform, a huge following, and he does well, so he can afford it. But why put yourself in that position in the first place, man? Anyway, again, shout out to Hood Educated. The links for that video that he put out will be in the description below. Please like, subscribe if you like the video content I'm putting out. I'm going to keep putting out good video content. Please hit like, hit subscribe, comment in the comment section below. Hit me up on social media. If you need help, if you need security professionals, and you are not in direct conflict with criminal street gangs, maybe we can help you. If not, I will offer you some advice. I didn't say free advice. I said advice. I had somebody call me up wanting free advice about how to do things. No. In the words of the immortal pimp Donald Goins, or Iceberg Slim, the game who penned Iceberg Slim, the game is to be sold, not to be told. So if you have a specific video request or topic you want analyzed or my opinion on, andersonsecurityconsulting@gmail.com. Anyway, it's your boy Russ. Again, shout out to Hood Educated. Like, subscribe on his channel as well too. I'm out.